Welcome hugging face coin lovers and treasure hunters. Today's video is going to shock you because we are diving deep into the mysterious world of the Liberty D 1 dime coin, a tiny piece of American history that could be hiding unbelievable value. Imagine holding a simple dime in your hand, yet that small silver coin may carry a powerful mint mark, a rare story, and a price that makes collectors' hearts race. Many people unknowingly spend these coins every day, never realizing they might be giving away a fortune. In this video, you'll discover why the Liberty D dime is so special, how the D mint mark can completely change its value. The 1982 Liberty D 1 dime from the United States carries an aura that feels almost electric when collectors whisper about it, because this coin sits right at a turning point in American minting history. On the surface, it looks like an ordinary Roosevelt dime, something many people have spent without a second thought. Yet the year 1982 marks a moment when composition, striking quality, and minting pressure all intersected. That is why stories around this coin feel so powerful, because sometimes history hides its greatest surprises in the most common-looking places, waiting for the right eyes to recognize them. What truly fuels the legend of the 1982 D-dime is not just the date or the Denver mint mark, but the rare possibilities locked inside that small silver-colored disc. Coins from this period can carry unusual traits, extra strong details, odd textures, or subtle minting anomalies that transform an everyday coin into something extraordinary. Collectors know that when a dime survives decades without wear, with razor-sharp lettering and a flawless surface, its value begins to rise fast. Perfection in coin collecting is not just beauty. It is scarcity created by time, survival, and chance. The imagination really ignites when people realize that certain rare versions of this dime exist only because something went slightly wrong at the mint. Tiny variations in pressure, alignment, or preparation can create coins that were never meant to exist. These errors are not mistakes in the eyes of collectors. They're miracles. A rare error on a 1982 D-dime can elevate it from pocket change to a coin that commands respect, attention, and astonishing prices when the right buyer recognizes what they are holding. Condition is where fortunes are truly decided. Two coins from the same year and mint can live totally different lives in the market. One might be worth only a few cents, while another, untouched, brilliant, and perfectly struck, can feel priceless to a serious collector. When a 1982 D-dime appears in near-perfect or pristine condition, it becomes a trophy coin. Add any unusual feature or exceptional strike quality, and suddenly the value conversation moves into a completely different world, one where numbers can shock people who never imagined a dime could change a life. The reason these coins inspire such dramatic stories is because the coin market is driven by desire, competition, and rarity. Wealthy collectors are not buying metal. They're buying history, uniqueness, and bragging rights. When two determined collectors want the same rare dime, price becomes secondary. That is how coins leap from modest values into unbelievable territory. In those moments, the dime is no longer small. It becomes a symbol of victory, patience, and discovery. Many people underestimate how fast fortune can shift with a single find. A coin sitting quietly in a drawer, wallet, or old collection can suddenly become the center of attention once its true nature is revealed. That is why collectors always say never rush, never sell blindly, and never underestimate what you have. Knowledge is power in numismatics, and the right knowledge can protect you from letting go of something priceless for almost nothing. The 1982 D Liberty dime teaches a powerful lesson. Extraordinary value often hides behind ordinary appearances. The world is full of people who once held something rare and never realized it. This coin reminds us to slow down, to look closer, and to respect history's smallest creations. Sometimes, the difference between the 1977 Liberty D 1 dime of the United States is surrounded by stories that feel almost unreal. The kind of stories that turn ordinary pocket change into objects of obsession. At first glance, it looks like a simple dime, small, silver-colored, and easy to ignore. But collectors know that coins are not judged only by what they seem to be. Sometimes a single detail, a mint mark, a strike, a hidden flaw created in a split second at the mint can lift a coin from everyday money into legendary status. That is why the 1977 Liberty dime with a D mint mark has captured so much attention and curiosity. What makes this coin so powerful in imagination is the idea of rarity hiding in plain sight. Millions of dimes were made in 1977, yet not all coins are born equal. Some are struck under unusual pressure, some are misaligned, some carry double designs, or missing details that should never exist. When these silent mistakes escape into circulation, they become time capsules of error and chance. The Liberty dime from 1977 becomes extraordinary not because every example is priceless, but because a tiny fraction may carry something special that transforms it into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Collectors often speak of such coins with almost mythical respect. They describe how a single rare specimen, perfectly preserved or marked by a dramatic mint error, can electrify the entire numismatic world. In such moments, value is not just metal or age. It is emotion, history, and competition. When serious collectors chase the same coin, prices can rise beyond logic, driven by desire and scarcity. This is how stories are born of small dimes commanding enormous sums, sometimes whispered in terms of millions, as legends rather than guarantees. Condition plays a powerful role in this mystery. A 1977 Liberty dime that has survived untouched, with sharp details, original shine, and nowhere, feels like a frozen moment from the past. Coins like this are rare because time is usually cruel. When one appears in near-perfect form, it commands attention instantly. Add an unusual mint mark placement or a striking error, and suddenly the coin is no longer ordinary. It becomes a trophy, something collectors dream of owning, not spending. The emotional pull of this dime also comes from its promise. People love the idea that something small can change a life overnight. A coin found in an old jar, a drawer, or a forgotten wallet carries hope with it. That hope fuels the belief that selling too quickly or too cheaply could mean losing a fortune before it even reveals itself. This is why patience is celebrated in coin collecting, and why knowledge is considered more valuable than luck. In the world of rare coins, stories matter almost as much as facts. A 1977 Liberty dime with a D mint mark becomes a symbol of possibility, a reminder that history, chance, and value can collide in unexpected ways. Whether the coin is truly extraordinary depends on details invisible to the untrained eye, but the excitement it creates is very real. That excitement is what drives collectors to examine every letter, every line, every tiny flaw under magnification. This dime also represents the power of belief in the collector's market. When a coin gains a reputation, it carries that reputation forward, growing with each retelling. The idea that a humble dime could hold unimaginable worth keeps people searching, learning, and dreaming. It turns coin collecting into a journey rather than a simple hobby, where discovery feels personal and thrilling. In the end, the 1977 Liberty D1 dime stands as a reminder that fortune does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it hides quietly, waiting for the right hands and the right moment. Whether it becomes a life-changing treasure or remains a fascinating piece of history, its story continues to inspire. And that inspiration, the belief that something small can hold enormous power, is what makes this coin unforgettable. The 1976 Liberty D1 dime from the United States is the kind of coin that hides its story in plain sight, slipping through hands for decades while carrying whispers of extraordinary destiny. At first glance, it looks ordinary, almost forgettable, yet seasoned collectors know that history sometimes disguises its greatest surprises as common pocket change. This dime belongs to an era of celebration and transition in America, a time when minting standards, machinery, and metal compositions were under pressure from massive production demands. In that pressure, legends are born. Coins like this are not just metal. There are frozen moments where a tiny mistake or an unexpected perfection can turn a humble 10-cent piece into something people talk about in hushed, excited tones. What makes the 1976 Liberty D dime so fascinating is not what everyone sees, but what only a careful eye can discover. Within this year, a handful of dimes are believed to exist with striking anomalies, details that should not align, textures that feel almost unreal, or impressions so sharp they seem carved rather than stamped. When a coin like this escapes the mint with something unusual, it becomes a mystery traveling through time. Many of these coins were spent, traded, or forgotten, while a few survived untouched, waiting for the moment someone realizes they are holding something far more powerful than spare change. The idea of unimaginable worth comes from rarity meeting desire. A coin is never valuable just because it is old. It becomes valuable when collectors compete for it. With certain 1976 D dimes, the stories suggest that extremely rare mint conditions or once-in-a-generation striking characteristics can ignite that competition. When demand rises and supply is nearly non-existent, prices stop following logic and start following emotion. That is how values jump from dollars to thousands, from thousands to figures that sound unreal. In a world of elite collectors, owning what no one else can find is everything. Condition is where fortune truly awakens. A 1976 Liberty D dime preserved in extraordinary state, untouched by circulation, glowing with original surface, sharp edges, and full detail, can exist in a completely different universe than the same coin worn down by time. Perfection multiplies rarity, and rarity multiplies value. Some collectors believe that the finest known examples of certain dimes do not yet sit in auction houses, but rest quietly in personal collections, jars, or old boxes. The thought that such a coin could still be waiting to be discovered is what fuels dreams of overnight transformation. There is also the powerful psychology of the sleeping treasure. Many people underestimate small denominations, assuming greatness must be heavy or golden. Yet history repeatedly proves that tiny coins can carry enormous power. When a coin gains a reputation for being misunderstood or overlooked, it becomes even more desirable once its story spreads. That is when collectors rush, prices surge, and a once-ignored dime becomes a symbol of sudden fortune. Those who sold too early often regret it forever, realizing they let destiny slip away for pocket change. Stories surrounding coins like the 1976 Liberty D dime travel fast because they touch a deep human hope, the belief that life-changing luck can appear unexpectedly. Holding such a coin creates a moment of suspense, a pause where imagination and possibility collide. Is this just another dime, or is it one of those rare survivors that rewrites a family's future? That question alone is powerful enough to make collectors hesitate, study, and protect rather than spend. If you believe you have this dime, patience becomes your greatest ally. Rushing, selling cheaply, or trusting the wrong hands can erase opportunity forever. Coins with legendary potential demand respect, careful handling, and time. True value reveals itself slowly, when the right eyes see the right details and the market is ready to listen. Fortune rarely rewards haste. It rewards those who understand the weight of what they hold. In the end, the 1976 Liberty D, one dime, stands as a reminder that destiny does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers from the smallest objects, daring you to pay attention. Whether myth, miracle, or masterpiece, this dime represents possibility. The thrilling idea that a simple coin can carry the power to change a life overnight. And that belief alone is why such coins are never just money, but symbols of hope, patience, and hidden wealth waiting to be claimed. The 1966 Liberty D1 dime of the United States is the kind of coin that hides its story in plain sight, quietly passing through hands while carrying legends that make collectors' hearts race. Many people casually call a Liberty dime because of the powerful symbolism it represents, even though its true magic is not in the common examples. but in the rare, mysterious pieces that slipped through history's cracks. This is the type of coin that reminds us how something small, overlooked, and ordinary-looking can secretly hold a destiny far greater than its face value, sparking dreams of overnight fortune and life-changing discovery. What makes the 1966 dime so fascinating is the era it was born into. The mid-1960s were a time of transition, confusion, and pressure inside U.S. mints, when metal shortages, design changes, and rush production created opportunities for rare mistakes. In that chaos, a handful of dimes emerged that were different, struck in unusual ways, carrying anomalies so subtle that only a trained eye or a lucky discovery could recognize them. These are the coins whispered about in collector circles, the ones said to be capable of reaching staggering prices when the right combination of rarity, condition, and mystery comes together. The real power of a 1966 D dime is not simply the date or the mint mark, but the story behind how unique examples are created. A tiny variation in the strike, a misplaced or double detail, an unusual surface, or an unexpected metal composition can turn an everyday dime into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. Coins like this are not made valuable by age alone, but by how different they are from the millions of others. That difference is where legends are born, and where values can rise from pocket change to amounts that feel almost unreal. Collectors are drawn to these coins because they represent possibility. The idea that a single dime, forgotten in a drawer or resting in an old jar, could be one of the rare survivors that escaped normal production rules is thrilling. High-grade examples with sharp details, untouched surfaces, and mysterious traits ignite fierce competition among serious collectors. When demand collides with extreme scarcity, prices can climb into astonishing territory, sometimes reaching levels that sound impossible to those outside the numismatic world. The reason people warn, "Don't spend it at a low price," is because history has proven that rare coins often reveal their true value only after careful examination. Many fortunes have been lost by selling too quickly without understanding what made a coin special. A 1966 dime that looks ordinary today could, under expert eyes, turn out to be something extraordinary tomorrow. This is why patience, knowledge, and respect for the coin's potential are everything when dealing with pieces surrounded by rarity and rumor. What truly fuels the myth of unimaginable worth is the emotional connection collectors have with these coins. They are not just metal. They're moments frozen in time, symbols of freedom, struggle, and craftsmanship. Owning a rare example is like holding a secret that only a few people in the world understand. That emotional value often pushes buyers to pay prices that defy logic, driven by passion rather than reason, and that is where record-breaking sales are born. Stories circulate of collectors who almost ignored a dime, only to discover later that it was one of the rarest known examples. These stories are why hope never dies in the world of coin collecting. Every search feels like a treasure hunt, every find carries potential, and every old dime becomes a question mark waiting for an answer. The 1966 Liberty named dime lives in that space between reality and legend, where dreams of overnight transformation feel just close enough to touch. In the end, the true power of the 1966 United States one dime is not a promise, but a possibility. It teaches that value is hidden, that fortune favors curiosity, and that knowledge can change destiny. If you ever come across such a coin, treat it with respect, research it deeply, and never rush its journey. Because sometimes the smallest coin carries the biggest story and the power to change a life when the moment is right. Fire. Circulate of collectors who almost ignored a dime, only to discover later that it was one of the rarest known examples. These stories are why hope never dies in the world of coin collecting. Every search feels like a treasure hunt, every find carries potential, and every old dime becomes a question mark waiting for an answer. The 1966 Liberty named dime lives in that space between reality and legend, where dreams of overnight transformation feel just close enough to touch. In the end, the true power of the 1966 United States one dime is not a promise, but a possibility. It teaches that value is hidden, that fortune favors curiosity, and that knowledge can change destiny. If you ever come across such a coin, treat it with respect, research it deeply, and never rush its journey. Because sometimes the smallest coin carries the biggest story and the power to change a life when the moment is right. Fire.